It was working right beforehand. Of course it was. And then of course I start and it decides to stop working again. I need to remember to just unplug the cable and replug it in right at the beginning of every stream. Like I did that the other day and it worked perfectly fine. I didn't do it today and of course it breaks. Sorry about that. So hello Xanax. Hello Dietrich. Thank you for letting me know. And hello Albert. Welcome with the welcome. Thank you for the raid. How's your stream today? And also Xanax, yes, thank you for that. This is not a sponsorship, it is a partnership. So the partnership means, from what I understand, the difference, because I've never actually had a sponsorship before, the difference is that a sponsor would pay you to also stream. In this case, I get a link that you could use that if you were to purchase it, I would get some of that money, and they promise to never like increase the cost as part of that. In fact, they told me that there's a 40% discount using that link for the next day or two, so that's nice. And then the other thing is that as part of that partnership, they also gave me VIP status, which means they gave me the lifetime access for free instead of making me pay for that. So that's like that's the part, that's like I think the difference. It's also very possible that I'm very wrong because I've never had a sponsorship. Sandeep Yadev, hello, how are you doing today? Who is the channel's target group? I would say that I'm targeting people who are basically trying to improve and like get into a growth mindset, and then also like just improve in both coding and then like other aspects that sort of like are around logics, growth mindset, that kind of things. I really focus right now a lot of coding type stuff because that's what I do. I am perfectly willing to pivot if there's better ways of accessing and like doing what I want to do though. But I'm happy to do the coding stuff right now. Does that help answer that question? Albert, how's your stream? How is everything? Awesome, great. Well, I have my tea here with me, so I should be getting nice and caffeinated pretty soon, and we'll get going. Now, if I remember correctly, yesterday we it didn't work out too well. I just realized there's a yourget.sh here. Interesting. I think that's like something they had. I didn't notice that it was there. Oh, it was unstable. Your home internet connection is not very good. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully that will clear up so your streams can be better. How is this content produced? With what hardware and what software? So as you can see, I have a Mac that I'm using as my primary driver. So that's what I'm using as just the normal computer. It is a notebook. I also have a Windows desktop. I am using an Elgato HD60S Plus to capture the screen here and then split it between a monitor that I have right in front of me and then also my desktop. So that way that captures that screen and sends that via OBS. So that's what I've got. You managed to make it work? Okay, that's good. All right. If I remember correctly, we didn't manage to get it working yesterday, but they said that we could do something with this Codecrafter's YAML file to give us the proper like feedback, and then that would let us know. Oh, you added music. Okay, nice. Let's take a look at this Codecrafter's YAML file. Okay, so set this to be true if you want. Yeah, so let's do true. And setting debug to be true. I guess like one thing that I wish that I could do on this is run the test locally too, just to like know whether or not it's going to succeed. That would be really nice. I don't think that. So run quiet release target dir that. Yeah, this isn't really telling me anything because I think this is just running it, but that running the binary, but it's not like telling me what it's trying to run, which is too bad. So let's go ahead and get push this. Oh, could not resolve host. Uh-oh, that's not good. Well, debugging time. Let's see what we got. So at the very beginning, repository setup. So this is the URL for that. If I do a get remote, what is it? LS list? Get remote, -v. Which that's it. That's the same thing. I'm kind of curious. If I switch to a different project, like let's just go to my desktop. Get let's try this here. Yeah, that worked. Oh, you're making a PGP talk. Nice. And Bamero, good morning. Hello. How are you doing today? So, okay, so it's not like my computer has just forgot how to use Git. It is that this isn't working. Now, I rebooted between yesterday and today, and also my computer had an update, so that's never a good thing. But I'm kind of surprised that this would have that same type of problem. Okay, so. Oh, okay, now it's working. Excellent. macOS really doesn't like rebooting. Ah, it's fine. It can handle a reboot. Okay, expected vanilla horsey Humpty Scooby vanilla Scooby as standard out. Got logs from your program will appear here. Oh, and blob vanilla horsey. Okay, so it got. Okay, so we got logs from your program will appear here. Oh, was I not so okay, I think I'm supposed to remove the logs there. That might be what it is. So, first of all, I want to remove the warnings that we have. And then I think that we need to get rid of these. because I think that was sort of breaking it a little bit. You're still yelling at me about unresolved imports, which I don't really understand why, because it clearly works. This feels more like a Rust analyzer type thing. Okay, do I have any print line? Unknown command. Okay, that in it. So let's try this. And then I think, yeah, we'll just I'll leave it. Okay, so this is what is it going to be called? It's removed extra print. And let's try this out. Oh, interesting. It reset back to not showing me what's going on. Okay, so your program. Blob 40 Nilla Humpty Dumpty as standard out got. Okay, so it expected that, but it got Blob 40. Oh, it wanted. That's interesting. What's the difference between these two? So we have Blob 40. So there's this. Now that looks like something else. It tried. Okay, so it ran. Can I run this myself? Not really? Okay, how about I run just normal git? Oh, it's not a valid object name, that's why. It's a valid object name on their side. So that makes it a little bit rougher. Okay, so now they expected blob and we gave them blob. They expected 40 and we gave them 40. They wanted this Nilla and we gave them 00 donkey. Donkey yikes yikes. That seems wrong. Okay, so from what I understand, the first two characters of this are supposed to be the folder name. So we don't really have one, but we can go searching for one again. So if we head back to in.get, we have these objects. And then here's one, like FD. Well, I wonder if it's going to be different for each of us. They have, I wonder if these are actually applying hooks or they're just samples. So I don't think they're actually doing anything. And I don't think they put anything special in here of like for that message that's committed. So I do think that it's a message they did. That's too bad. Okay, so let's do this FD. Exalo Milo, hello. How are you doing? Is being laid off really common in this field? It's become a lot more common recently, but it's not just developers that are being laid off. It's pretty much everyone sort of around developers too. So recruiters, QA, product management, basically all around it is in sort of like this weird layoff cycle right now, where companies are like overhiring and then, oh, whoops, okay, then layoff, then overhire, then layoff. It's really unfortunate. That was the story of 2023. They overhired during COVID, which they did absolutely do to an unbelievable degree. Okay, so I want a cat file, and then let's do... Okay, so dash P, we want FD, and then that. Okay. So that was my object, okay. The first commit, essentially. And then I want to do mine, too, so... I want to do a target, get started rest, cat file, that. Is there, oh, look at that. Okay, so we do this out and we get, okay, so use standard via use standard, use that, and then in the middle of this, logs from program apply here. Did I not build this again? Let's try that again. Okay, there it is. The very first part of this, you got this blob, 1249. What's that? Is that part of everything else? I think is the same though, right? Is there anything else that's weird in here? I don't think so. You started a job in 2023 but got laid off days before Christmas. Yeah, there is a book, a leadership book called Widgets, which is a very, very ironically named how to manage your employees as if they're really people, which is a really good, like, has a really good information about, like, or I guess like guides for leaders of like how to avoid this type of thing, or at least how to act if you need to do it. And right now I'm not seeing a lot of that from most companies. So I'm sorry you got laid off. I hope that you're able to find a new job fairly soon. Ironically, there's like pretty heavy hiring happening outside of tech, so that might be easier to find a job in, is like outside of the tech sector itself, still as a developer. It just like not for, you know, somebody in tech. They are not doing as crazy layoff stuff. Core Bob, hello. How are you doing today? And Coffee, hello. Yeah, layoffs are mostly common these days in US, it feels like, but international, yay. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if other companies are looking at these ones and, you know, at the US and saying like, hey, that's a way to be profitable. Okay. And so they're going to do that until they're like they're forced to stop, or they're forced to stop by us by like refusing to work for them, or forced to stop by regulation, one of the two. And I'm not really a huge fan of like regulation in that area, but like if they don't stop, I like, are they, I don't really know what the answer is going to be. It's a very fascinating time. Okay, so we have this blob 1249. I think that here's my guess. I think that this is due to zlib decoder. Or am I supposed to like ignore the first few bytes? So I do the read to string. Okay, so I do that. I read to string. And then I print it out, but we get that blob thing in there. And then I'm just print that. Then it'll just print, give me a blob. Oh, okay. So I might need to lock it. The print macro. Okay, so what if we do this instead? What if we lock standard out and then we use the write macro instead? So what was that? That was let lock equals standard standard.io. Was it? Oh, standard out lock. Is just that it? I get that thing? Oh, standard out dot lock. Okay. So it's okay, standard IO, standard out dot lock. Okay, so standard IO, standard out. Okay, lock. We switch you to the write macro. We hand it lock. And then that. Okay, we can try you instead. Let's see how this works. We do need to, okay, cargo run. Let's hand it this file. Oh, method not, cannot write into standard out lock. Okay, so it doesn't like that. Some students at my school are already employed before they have started their last year of scholarship. Yeah, that's happened too. Chat, hello. How are you doing today? Okay. Am I missing a trait? Oh, yeah, we need to add this use in here. Wait a second. Nope, I saw an error. Was this an error? You're an error. Cannot mutate. Okay, so you need to be mutated. Okay. Let's try this again. The name right is defined multiple times. Okay, so I've accidentally... Okay, so we want format right, or I wonder... Okay. I want to... That's probably the wrong right. Epic, hello. Oh, I'm missing a use? Well, that would cause a problem. Epic, how are you doing today? Are you building the Git client or server in Rust? Client. We're building the Git client. And we are using instructions from Codecrafters to help us out with that. Now I wonder, I'm missing a use of that right? You're not really... That doesn't feel like what I want. Is Codecrafters the service John who? Yeah, it is. It's exactly the same one. So they reached out to me after that stream and offered me the same. Well, as far as I know, because I haven't talked to John, and they haven't like told me any details about that. But I think it's like very similar sort of like idea to that. So it's partnership with them, and that's why I clicked there's a paid thing, because I got this for free. But I've also have a link that gives 40% off for it if anybody else wants to use it. So I figured I'll show off what this is like, the fun, the negative, all that stuff, and then everybody can make their own decision based on it. We need to go look at write in documentation. So what is it? Docs. Specifically, okay, so we were looking at the print macro. And okay, they were saying, okay, print's the standard output, which sounds exactly right. Equivalent to that. The print macro will lock the standard output on each call. Okay, so what if I go back to print, and then we might have to do this. So IO standard out, flush. So let's go back to print. And then IO standard out, flush, and see what that does for us. Guess we'll open up. Okay, that worked. Now I'm still getting this blob though. That's not helpful. Thanks, Epic. Yeah, for these specific ones, I'm making the VODs just publicly available immediately after they're done. So they're just out there on YouTube. You don't have to go and like find it on Twitch or just wait for the 2 weeks. Okay, so we're still getting that blob. Now, if the print is not the problem, which I mean, it might be the problem, it might not be. It could also be this zlib decoder, which we're getting from Flate 2. So let's go check out Flate. And we are using specifically the zlib decoder from Reed. Now, that will give us, okay, so when we create a new, that gives us this zlib decoder, implements a read instance. I want to read to string. If successful, this function returns the number of bytes which were read and appended to buffer. So it's trying to be very similar to like the standard FS read to strings. That makes sense. But I'm not seeing anything here where it's gonna like add in that blob, like whatever that is. I don't want to just try to handle that by removing it because I don't really understand what it is. What we can do is let's see if there's like something about that in the docs here. Wait, where's my... Okay, there we go. I want to go to our repo, including everything that's been closed, and I want to look for something that says blob. I want to see if somebody says like, hey, there's a blob in here. I'm not seeing anybody yell about that. Okay, well, I was hoping... Okay, let's read through this again because maybe it'll tell us that like, hey, also... Let's feed some code examples. So these are other students, I believe, that have gone through this. So which I think that's pretty cool. So I want to see, can we find where they're doing the zlib? They have everything in one file. Here's their cat file. So they're doing the same thing where they're sort of joining to get the object path. They're handling errors properly. Okay, they create their buffer. They're not... Wait, are they not using... I don't think they're using the thing to read it. I don't know if that's right. I want to look at one where they have... Okay, so here's zlib decoder that they're using. Okay, so we have cat file. There are all the different ways of sort of like splitting up what that looks like. Now, that's interesting. Okay, so they read into the string, and then they're splitting that string at this, which is, I believe, that blob, and then doing that. Okay. Then this might just be in there always. This does feel like it's at the beginning. It's at the beginning here, which would probably be you. So if I were to... Here, let's just try what they're doing. They're splitting at this x00. So here's our decoder. Read okay, we read the string. We get the extracted content. Okay, so we have that there. Then I want to split extracted content. Now split, that returns, right? It returns an... Oh, it returns a split. An iterator over this. So I want probably the second one. So let our... I mean, essentially it's a split here. I want to get... essentially skip two of them and then print out the last one. What can I do with split? I haven't really used split very much. We can get the last, which gives me, okay. Let's let... So if I just do that, and then we just print that out, okay, what happens then? Ooh, no more blob. Okay, so I think that's working. I kind of want to know where should we have seen that? I feel like in one of these things it would tell us the blob that it's going to have that in there, and I just didn't look at it. Yeah, so we have like blob, blob. That doesn't really tell you to remove the blob here, doesn't it? It just has that. It said the string blob, the header will begin with comment with commit or tree. Okay, no, that's something else. There's the plumbing commands. That doesn't really give me what I think that it wants. Okay, the get cat file. That preprints the object. Okay, I believe this is going to work though. I'm not sure how I would find that specifically in here. Without looking at the other things. Now in this, okay, so in the AI code here, interesting. So yeah, none of this talks about this blob object. I just saw it in being handled in another learner's code example. That's really interesting. I wonder how I'd find that. Oh, look at that. Want to run tests without install our CLI. Okay, I might do that before next stream. All right, so let's get started with this. I didn't have any law. I do have an in cat file in flush. We have to unwrap you. I'm just doing unwraps here until they become a prop. Like if we run into an issue where it starts crashing because like they're handing us bad stuff, I'll start actually doing proper error handling. Okay. It's maybe working. Let's find out. Tests are passing. Excellent. Okay. So we are good to go. Oh, okay. So we've read a blob object. We're on to the next one now. Create a blob object. In the previous stage, we learned, I think that's supposed to be an ED. How to read a blob. In this stage, you'll add a blob to your Git repository by implementing the git hash object command. Okay, so let's close some of these windows down and open them up. Your program will be called like so. Okay, they're gonna call our shell script hash object -w and then a file. It is expected to store the data from file as a blob in Git objects and print a 40-character SHA to standard out. To verify your implementation, the tester will try to read the blob your program wrote. It'll do this using git cat file, the command you implemented in the previous stage. Okay. So we should be able to write it out and then immediately read it back out again. Okay, so let's see what we can do. So it's going to be hash object -w. So I kind of want to try this with just on my own to begin with, using just normal Git. So if I create a file, so let's just touch test, we'll cat into test, maybe like hello world. So I want to do a git hash object, and then we hand it, okay, so write it, and then hand it test. And now we can do take that and do a git cat file, and we can get that back. Okay, so that's what we want to do. I mean, that doesn't seem too bad. So I'm going to hand it, okay, so for hash object, so we're going to have a new file here. So we have cat file. Let's just go ahead and touch hash object. Okay, and we'll go into hash object, and we're going to have a pub function hash object. Okay, so this is going to be called from our main file. If we take a look at main, this is what this looks like, right? So we're going to have hash object. We're going to want basically all the args past this. So we have args 1 as what this is, then 2 beyond we're going to pass in. Okay, so hash object, let's give it args 2 and beyond. Year upset, we want our args, which is going to be an array slice of, I guess, strs. Wonder if that will work. I don't think they're that. Oh, use this as the mod. Okay. Hash object function. It wants these. Oh, they're actually okay. So it really is a string slice of strings. Okay. Okay. We are just going to go ahead and do the full thing here, right? So we want to check to see that it's a -w. That's not it. That's not the right one. We want if args of 0, so it's a new string slice, so starting with 0 here, if that equals dash w. Shandu, hello. How are you doing today? What data structure does Git use, and what are you using for it? That's a good question. We're still sort of learning at this point in time. So far, the commands that we've implemented are initializing a Git directory and then reading a blob object. So the structure from like, I mean, obviously there's going to be tree objects and commits also. For blob objects, it seems to be like the actual file so far. Oh, it's called a cyclic graph. Okay. Yeah, there's a tutorial that we're following for this. I haven't really like read the full like sort of thing past each one. We're sort of doing like the bare minimum to go through it. We haven't figured that out. So I'm actually really curious once we get to like cloning a commit or doing that, if it's going to be the full thing. Right now, it seems to be creating a, like for the full file, not just the change. But when we get there, that's, I think, where it's going to get interesting. Okay, so if the args of 0, okay, so if that's dash w, we should probably just match this. Let's match args of 0 as stir. So we have dash w, and then I'll probably have like the actual thing down here. So this is going to be, now we have hash object, and then this one is going to be, we're going to hash the object. And then everything else, I think we're just going to ignore, or just say like unknown. We'll probably just have to do a print line, maybe an ePrint line. Unknown command, unknown option. Okay, that'll be fine. So in we want to hash the object. Okay, so we get that, and then we're going to get the file name. So that the file name equals args of 1. It is awesome how it works and tracks changes. Yeah, it is. And it's sort of like nice to sort of like dive deeper into it, because I've always used it more as a user as opposed to like understanding or just knowing even a little bit of how it truly works behind the scenes. Okay, a blob is most of the time a full file. A tree is a full directory. Okay, that's good to know. We're probably going to get there. Like, we know that a blob is a full file. And because obviously we're reading and writing to full files. I don't think that it uses any kind of like actual database stores unless you count actually storing the files and directories in like these blob and tree formats. Like, that could be considered a kind of sort of custom database for this specific use case. It doesn't store changes. Okay, yeah. When I first started using it, that's what I thought it did. But apparently not. It just stores like the full versions of files, which that would also explain why it gets so big. Yeah, it stores snapshots of a file system tree. That makes sense. especially now at what we're seeing, because like there's not that much more to it. Okay, so we have this file name. I probably don't need to take ownership of this, so that's gonna be fine. Okay, so we have our file name. I want to now hash this. I guess it's not really hashing it, is it? I know it is hashing it. It's hashing it in a recoverable form. No, I want to hash it. I want to compress it. I want to compress it and get the hash of it. That's what I want. Okay, so I hash it and compress it. That's what it is. Okay, so we want to load up the file. So let's get the file equals what is it? File. I forgot the macro to load the file. It's like, oh, include stir. That's what it is. Now, okay, so include a UTF-8 encoded file as a string. This obviously could cause problems. Because like, what if it's not a string? I wonder if they would throw that at us. Because I believe in RealGet, it doesn't have to be a string. It can handle it with any type of file. That being said, we could probably just do include stir, hand it the file name. Oh, no, we can't do this because it must be a string literal. Okay, never mind. Oh, because that happens at compile time. That happens at compile time. I don't want this to happen at compile time. I want this to happen at runtime. So, okay, fine. We're going to do standard IO. Is there a file? Is it standard file? No, I don't want that. I forget what it is. It's not form. Oh, it's FS. Standard FS. Read the entire contents of a file into a bytes vector. Okay, so that's probably what I want. Okay. So read, and then you're a path, so that would be the file name. Sure, let's unwrap you. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, so that gives us a byte vector. Okay. Now I want to convert. Okay, so I would like to compress it. I wonder if we get the hash from that at compression time, or if yeah, so get hash object. What do you do? Oh, that actually doesn't tell me much about it. Like, what's going on. Yeah, it gets the hash from the bytes of the original file. It's kind of like, that's sort of what it feels like. It's kind of like OSHA-1. Okay, so let's go to create. We want to go to, what was it called? Plate 2. Now we have, okay, so we want to use zlib. So you can do a write zlib encoder. Right, it is zlib, right? It's not gzip. And that, okay, so that gives me the compressed bytes. Okay, compression default. And then we can just write this all to a file. I think that's what that is. Is that just writing it twice? Interesting. Or am I writing, oh, I'm writing into it, aren't I? I'm adding into it. Okay, this is a little bit confusing. Let's actually go into the documentation. Structs. We want to compress. The zlib. Encoder. I guess we'll just play around with it and sort of see what they want. You should look on Codecrafters for what's wanted. Yeah, so if we take a look at this, Codecrafters wants us to write it as a blob into there. So we're gonna have to create the directory for it, and we're gonna have to get the hash of it too. What I was wondering is, will it give me the hash? Like, will Flate give me the hash of it as well? But I don't actually think it will. But I wanted to try that out. The Real Enrico, hello. How are you doing today? Get Stuff, is the course finished? I am not creating this as a course myself. We're taking this as a course. So this is from Codecrafters. So full disclosure, they gave this to me for free. And then I have a link that can be used with Codecrafters that, which doesn't show up in YouTube. So let me copy and paste that in there. But yeah, that link gets 40% off right now. At least that's what they told me, and I haven't verified that. So hopefully it does. In case you like what you see. And you wanna use it too. But I'm perfectly happy also with you just sort of watching along and sort of like seeing us go through this. In the meantime, going through your Axiom 0.5 course and upgrading it to work with the latest version. They changed so much. They did. They changed a lot. But that's probably a really good way to learn, because you'll like actually see where things break and then like figure it out. And it's like, oh, okay, I understand this more. It's awesome. Okay, yeah, so this is what they want. They basically just they're gonna do a cat file on it to try to get the contents of it back. So let's see. I think we need to SHA it. Can I SHA with the Flate? There's no hash, there's nothing like that. I don't think so. Yeah, we should SHA-1 it before. I was just wondering whether or not this would give me the SHA. I don't, like, I'm not seeing that it will. What else do we have? What else have they given us? Oh, they gave us SHA-1 for hashing. Okay. So that's in our dependencies. We can use this. Chat, hello. Does this course have prerequisite knowledge? So they claim when you begin that you can say, okay, preferred language, and then you can switch this to like, okay, I never tried. So, okay, we recommend learning basic Rust syntax before attempting this challenge, going to like exorcisms. Okay, and then at beginner, they're like, okay, we think that you can use this. So basically, they do recommend at least feeling okay being a beginner with Rust. Okay, so we have this SHA-1. So if I load up the okay, so we could probably get that. Let's create a function here. So we'll do a function like get SHA. So if I get the file name, which is a stir, and we're gonna return, let's say, a string of the SHA. I want to. It's not necessarily like, okay, so reading that is probably gonna be fine. We have our file name, we don't own it yet. Let's also let SHA equals get SHA file name. Okay. Now what can I do? We want to do SHA-1 SHA-1 That's not helpful. Okay, so it's not like immediately obvious just looking at it what I need to do, so we'll just go to crates and take a look at there. Oh, okay, so you're not, yeah, okay. We'll go take a look at that. Oh, someone did actually write Git in Rust. Nice. Okay, usage. So we use SHA-1 new, so create a new SHA object. Process the input message. Okay, so this hasher, we update it and we hand you in. And then we finalize, and that gives us a hex of this. Okay. So we're gonna, okay, so we create a new hasher object. I'm gonna move this over to the side so I can use it, look at it at the same time. All right, so we're gonna do let mute hasher equals SHA-1 new. And then we're going to update it with the contents of this file. So we actually have the files. That's going to be, now it's bytes. So I think that having this be a string slice of U8 is what we want here. So we're going to say hasher update file, and then I want to return, okay, so then we're going to get that the hash equals the hasher dot finalize. We need to update you give you that. Okay. Trait bounds are not satisfied. That's not. Okay, so okay, you brought in because you thought that you were the correct thing. Okay, no function or associated item named new for struct core wrapper. So I need to import. No, okay, so it wants me to import, use hex literal. Use hex. Okay, so it wants me to use SHA-1, and digest 2. Oh, that's what it was. I need the digest. Okay. That gets it. Okay, so now we have our hash. We finalize it. Now what type are you? Unknown. Cool. Now finalize. Oh, unknown for that as well. We have no errors. Okay, that's good. Now, okay, so we update it, we handed the file. Now it has this assert equal, and then we have this result, which I think is in hex. How do we convert the hex to a string? Can I do, I don't think I've ever done it before. I also probably just want to, let's debug the hash. Okay, now this will crash when I try to run it, but that's going to be fine. So I already have this file test out here. So I want to do a cargo run hash object w test. No such file or directory. Oh. Wait. That's because the test is out here. That's fine. Okay, so here's the hash. Okay. So I need to now convert this into the appropriate thing, which I forget how to do. Now it says that this is acquired hash digest in the form of a generic array, which in this case is equivalent to a U820. So this one is like 28. They use hex to convert this over into it. So I want to convert hex to string. Hex to something. Oh, is that the reason why we had hex? From hex. Okay, so use the traits from hex. Oh, okay, so then I do from hex, and then I can do... That gives me a buffer? The example is the other way than what you want. The one here, yeah. I want 2 hex? Oh, do I want 2 hex? This is turning it into a hex, right? Okay, so if I finalize, we have this hash. Now, if I take the hash and there's not from hex, there's not a to hex. Ooh, okay, so I need to pull in hex. You have bytes, you want a string of hexadecimal digits. Okay, that makes sense. So we have these bytes. We have an array. We have essentially a vector of U8. And I want to turn them into a string of hexadecimal digits, okay, that I could then turn into a string. Now, hex here, which I want to say we also have access to. Yeah, we have access to hex. So hex, instead of from hex, we want to hex. So we take this thing and we just encode hex. Okay, so we need to use hex to hex. So if we use that, was it 2 hex? No, it's encode hex. Type annotations needed. Okay, so encode hex, as a string. Okay, and then we will just return this. Okay, so then we get our SHA-1. Let's now debug out the SHA. And let's see what we got here. There we go. Okay. So that's good. So we've now got our SHA sum. Excellent. So that's step 1 of this, right? We get our SHA. We want to we have our file. Okay, so we have our file. We also need to compress this into, okay, so we need to compress. So we'll also take the file of that. And do I want to, is this going to be a string? I don't know what this is going to be. Let's see, we're going to use the, what is it called? Plate. Oh, it's the zlib. The zlib encoder, right? New, and what do you take? Which will write uncompressed data to the stream. Oh, compress. Okay, so it's gonna be the exact same thing that we use with this hasher, isn't it? So we're gonna do let mute, like, encoded. Oh, expected 1 argument. Maybe not. I guess the other thing though is that I need to create the file. I need to create the folder for it as well. Okay, so what are the things we need to do? We get the SHA-1. Okay, so we get the SHA, we get the file. We need to also function create like the folders. Create the folder. So we need the SHA sum, so that could be a stir. And then, okay, so the file name is that. Okay, get the file, get the SHA sum. We're going to create the folder. Probably like have to put it in there. Do we need to compress? So we need to compress and hand it in the file. And then print the 40 char SHA to standard out. So then print the SHA, right? So print SHA. I mean, that one's going to be pretty simple, but okay. Create a folder. This is also going to be the SHA. They're handing it. Okay, so that's going to be like the general idea. I may want to use the read version. I wonder. Yeah, I'd probably use the write version, right? But okay, so let's do this one thing at a time. So before we do compress, we're gonna do this one at a time. So we want to create the folder. I want to print out the SHA. Let's print out the SHA regardless, so we can at least see where things go and test those out. So this is gonna be, we're just gonna print, and we're gonna print the SHA itself. So that's, I mean, this is pretty simple. We want to do SHA. We also want to do standard IO. What was it? Standard IO, standard out flush. Okay. Okay, so that will print that out. Okay, so if we don't do anything else right now, let's get rid of all of our warnings, except those two are going to be fine. So if I cargo run hash object with this test, ooh, this one already exists because it's exactly something we already have in there before. So let's do let's update test. So cat. So another line. Okay, so I want to see that it creates that 8.3. So we want to do an LT of .get objects, and we want to see basically .8.3. So maybe not LT. We're going to do LL .get objects 8.3, and then we should see a file in there, or at least we should see that directory being existing. Stick and Dip, hello. How are you doing today? Yes, I see I'm on the back. Have I tried writing Swift before? I have not tried Swift before. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing, is that I should probably use the print line. And so I think that's all I need here. Then I want LL get objects 8.3, and you don't exist, and that's fine. Oh, in this folder, so like the first two letters might already exist, and so I need to check to see, like, create it if it doesn't exist. Okay, so that's gonna be in standard create hex. Okay, so I need our I think it's an FS. Okay, a builder used to create directories in various manners. I don't know if that's exactly what I want. So creates a new set of options of default mode. Okay, so in user research. It is considered an error if the directory already exists unless recursive mode is enabled. Interesting. So I could just do recursive mode. Interesting. Okay, okay. So let's do this dir builder. Put this over in a side so I can reference it. So in we're gonna do a let's. I don't actually know if I need multiple things. So we're just gonna do dir builder new. Let's add in recursive mode. So true. Oh, create it anyways and check if the error exists. It avoids tactile failures. Okay, that's good to know. So yeah, instead there's another. Okay, so instead of recursive then we then do create. It wants a path. So we have to figure out what the path is going to be. So that our path is going to be equal to, so we know that you're going to be. Now this is going to be interesting, right? Because we so far are in the same directory as the .git, but it's very possible that we're not. Like, so normally I think that git write object would not care where you are. It's going to find the .git home directory first and then go from there. This one, I don't know if they actually care about that. So like, I think here we could say like, normally we should find the .git folder in case we are nested in. That's YOLO because why not? Happy smiley face. Time check. Oh yeah, it is 8:30. Okay, I want to try this one really quick, see if we can create the folder, and then we'll have to end for the day. Okay, so we're just gonna say, hey, we have .git objects, so we're gonna start there. So I want probably have to format this. So format. We're also going to have to get the first two characters of this too. So we have the stir, so get objects. And then I want the SHA 0, 2, something like that. Can I two-string that? That, okay. Now create the path. Now I could unwrap it, or I can check what the type is. Let's try just unwrapping it right now, and let's see what it yells out to me. Oh, you missed most of the string. Yeah, sorry. I start at 7 a.m. Mountain Time right now, at least for the rest of the year. I might be changing the stream at the new year, but that's in like 2 weeks or so. Is it in 2 weeks? It's like 1.5 weeks or so. Time is sneaking up on us. All right, so we have an unwrap on here, which is not great, especially for this specific case. But let's not worry about that. Let's YOLO this. So we are going to run this with our test. Okay, no errors, no problems. This year has flown by totally crazy. It has. Okay, so I want to now check. Okay, so it's the 83. Hey, it exists. It exists. Okay, so if I run this again, we should get an error. Yeah, it kind of already exists. So we should probably handle this So we need to handle the case that the folder already exists. If that is so, we don't want to crash. So we could basically convert this and check it. So we're not done with this. We will be able to let's see. Okay, so tomorrow is Saturday. I'm not doing streams on weekends, so I'll be back on Monday morning to continue working on this. I mean, most likely Monday morning. So next week is Christmas week, right? I don't actually know what my full schedule is for next week. Let me wait, is Christmas Monday? I am so removed from like what the calendar schedule is right now. Oh, today's the 22nd. Yeah, okay, so Monday is Christmas. Oh yeah. Okay, so I don't actually know what my schedule is next week yet. I won't be streaming on Monday. Most likely I'll be streaming Tuesday through Friday. I'm going to this weekend figure out what my schedule is, and then I'll update the let's see, since I'm now streaming on I'll probably I'll update the Twitch schedule page, and then I'll just also do like a message out to all of our message out to on YouTube also, so that way you can see all that. Anyways, the idea is that morning stream is continuing with this, and then the afternoon streams we've been doing as fun streams. Fun for me right now is learning evolutionary code. So basically learning to create a bot that can play a game. So fun things all together. So this afternoon we'll be continuing with the with that bot. Mladsty, hello. How are you doing today? The MacBook version. I have a that's too bad. I wanted like this thing over here so I can just grab it. This is the 2002, 2001 MacBook Pro. So it's the 16-inch M1 whatever, like Pro Max. I forget which one that is specifically. And I maxed out the RAM because I just learned the hard way a long time ago, and especially when like they started soldering the RAM onto the motherboards, like every single notebook computer manufacturer does, except for like the framework. Yeah, so that's 64 gigabytes RAM for this one, which is like really good. Like it's worked out really well, so I like it a lot. All right, so let's see. I think that's everything I got. So we're just gonna go ahead and end it there. Thank you again for hanging out. If you've enjoyed looking at this, if you want to try it out yourself, I do have a code that you can try. So it's in the description for YouTube. And then also I had code crafters here. I should move these over to that. But yeah, so basically I have this code. If you like Code Crafters and you want to join and do some of the other challenges that they have, that code will give me like 60% of the purchase without actually increasing it for you. You're streaming, by the way? Oh yeah, so Albert is streaming. Albert is working on a talk for that kind of thing. I'm not going to do a raid right now. I'm probably just gonna end, but if you are interested in that, Albert is streaming about you were doing a talk on something, right? I forget what that was, but that's twitch.tv/that. So anybody who's interested in going look at that, go check it out. Anyways, I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. If I see you this afternoon, I will see you. Otherwise, Have a great day. Have a great weekend. If you celebrate Christmas, have a great Christmas. Unless I, for some reason, stream on Christmas. What? I don't know. We'll figure things out. All right. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye.